Hey everyone, welcome back to AI Chronicles. Today's a special one because I'm joined by two of my amazing teammates from Explain, Noor, our head of product, and
Hello.
Asma, who brings her computer science chops to the table as a technical PM. Hi Noor, hi Asma, how are the two of you doing?
Very well. Enjoying a good summery day here in California,
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's so cold in San Francisco. Jeez, okay.
in San Jose to be specific.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so as I was saying, like I work closely with both of you, and I'm super excited to finally bring your perspectives to the pod. And for those who are listening to us, we are diving into this evolving world of AI agents, product vision, and all the behind the scenes magic that goes into building the AI first tools. Let's get into it. But before I get into it, I have a question for the two of you. And Asma, why don't I'll ask you first? If you had an AI agent that could completely take over one part of your day-to-day life, work or personal, what would it be?
Hmm. I this is very far from where we are currently.
Mhm.
I can't do laundry. I
No, you
need
stole my
somebody
answer. You
to do
stole
my
my answer.
laundry. We need to reach a stage where laundry is not something I do.
Yeah, yeah. It's like for me, it's like folding the laundry.
It never gets folded, it's just there.
Yeah, same. Same story.
It's like a fire that just gets like added and you just remove what you need. That's it.
How about you, Noor?
Hmm. Um, I could say cooking, but it would feel the same in the same space. But no, it's not cooking. To tell you the truth, the most thing that I get bugged by is now I'm a mother of three kids. They're the shine of any day, gloomy or bright. But because they are in different stages of their lives, they have different activities. They're getting different. I'm getting a lot of emails from their teachers, updates, events, and I am always lost in the clutter. Like there is
Mm,
so much clutter. So I would like an agent definitely to go and coordinate my schedule a little bit more,
mm,
figure
mm,
out what's really important for us given our like background, our values, our interests as a team, as a like as a family, and then surface these as like high potential activities. I would love that agent, and I would definitely, maybe I never spoke, like, thank you for surfacing the question. Maybe I should start working on it.
I know, right? That would be interesting to see
Yeah, yeah,
something to deploy in production. People will
yeah,
use it, especially mothers like you. I know my sister will be on board on that for that one.
yeah. It's a common problem for sure.
It seems like it. Awesome. Okay. So now, now that you know you have the mic, why don't you tell us, as head of product at Explain, how do you see the AI agent landscape evolving in the next few years?
Hmm. Um, that's a very cool question. I mean, there's no it's a very predictive question, right? There's no one who knows the answer for sure. But there's a lot of indicators on where we're going in terms of like technological advancements and
Mm,
also the acceptance of people who are building agents, who are consuming agents, like how far are they willing to integrate agents into their lives, operations, and work.
mm,
I think we're witnessing a shift where we're moving from thinking of agents as tools into thinking of them as teammates. Like what is my team missing, or how can I augment my team with an additional um, agent? Think of it, whether personal or digital, that can help, for example, bridge that gap, or do help me do data analysis, or help me do better market research, and so forth. So thinking of them as teams. Also, there's the shift of software. I think that is even like as critical as thinking of them as teammates, is
mm,
thinking of software as we know it before is no longer going to act or be built the same way. So before we thought, what is the logic to build a software? What is the procedure the software should execute in order to achieve some results? Now we are intent driven. We tell the agent what is the intention of
mm,
its role, and then the agent itself starts figuring out during runtime what it should do,
Mm,
what tools should it do, what reasoning should it execute on. And that's, I think, really fascinating, thinking of intent first experiences, even from a product perspective. That is
mhm,
also like, where are the buttons going to go? And maybe even now we're thinking chat experiences becoming the next user interface, but maybe it's not even chat, right? It's going to be still multimodal. We'll still have some tangibility. We'll have physical interfaces, digital interfaces, but I think they're all going to be intent based. So a lot of the context data would already be in the system, and you will have to do just a few gestures in order to get to where you want, with less effort and more expressiveness.
intent driven. That's really well put. Thank you for that. And we have like, yeah, as you said, like from software going to be all, from very being deterministic and going towards intent driven. Now, what are some of the biggest challenges in building these agent or AI agent powered products, both from
Yeah.
like a technical and user adoption perspective?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the biggest problem is not technical right now. The biggest
Mm,
problem we're facing is, you think of it as psychological. We do not trust agents.
mm,
And we have a good reason not to, right? But we don't trust them in terms of having full control and being super autonomous, making the right decisions all the time. And also, we want more clarity on the decision making that they're doing. Like, why did you make that decision? Based on what data? Based on what reasoning? What did you consider? All this needs to be there in order for us to start trusting agents and really relying on them. The problem of lack of trust is, without it, they will always be flashy, nice pieces of digital information,
mm,
but they will not be used in critical application. And I think this is why we're seeing a huge, like, usage of agents in some areas, but not in others.
mm,
If we're thinking creative applications, people are like, I'm willing to take a few like false pieces of information, hallucination. If it's generating an image, I can see it, I can reject it, I can prompt it. Um, Coding, because of it's already hands on, and you can see the execution as it's running or not running. There's also some kind of way to verify if the answer is good or not. But when we're talking about decision making, and we have, for example, some customers approaching us, from venture investors, and they're like, we get a lot of portfolios. How can we make a decision which one requires our attention, right? Because we want to process them quicker. And the same problem, by the way, has been surfaced by other companies who are trying to filter through applicants, like an HR kind of agent. And we've
right.
built HR agents before, but whenever we have like automated so many pieces, we
Mm,
always leave a space for a human in the loop, because we get back to the customer and they're like, yeah, but, right?
yeah.
And we don't blame them. Like, we have seen RAG systems built, with so many information retrieval engines that are super powerful and like on paper they're high quality, yet they are hallucinating. They're giving you bad information, false information. Until we fix that problem, there will be an adoption issue with agents. So I think this is,
Mm,
the biggest obstacle, and it will be solved inside out, outside in. And by that, I mean the scientists are working inside of the LLMs that are the heart of the agents to make them a little bit more reliable. And also, engineers and platforms like Explain, where we're coming from, we're looking at external mechanisms that allow us to control a little bit more what's happening, give clarity, explanation, attribution, resources. We just launched the team agent a few months ago, and our team agent has an inspector inside of it. It's really an active micro agent that lives inside of the architecture and keeps checking, with all the information it has, all the context, that the output of the agent is good enough, and it
mm.
gives you a score of confidence. So that's one way how platforms like us are attending to that issue.
Got it. That's a very well put vision from product and a little bit technical side. Now I want to go to Asma to talk more. technical about agents. And given your technical background in computer science, Asma, what are some of the key advancements in AI agent architecture that excites you the most?
I think currently it is this aspect of like these micro agents and having more like looking at the way they perform, especially when you kind of have something like what we do where we have these execution logs and you're looking at the way it's thinking, it's really cool to actually see how that formulates and comes through and giving you more control of what you're actually doing. Also, things like when you have custom tools and you can embed them into your agents, it gives you more power to do or automate your basic tasks in like a really seamless way. And I think that's something that's currently in the landscape that I'm really interested in, and it's been cool. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. And speaking of tools and custom tools and all the things, do you think like so I understand that AI agents rely on a mix of LLMs, tools, retrieval mechanisms, and so on. What are some of the biggest technical hurdles in integrating these components more effectively?
For me, I would say right now, I some things that happen is just like failures for API calls or things like that with tools. Now, those could happen, and yes, that's expected. But debugging and having a more crisp output log or like logs of some sort to kind of help you understand what's happening is something that I wish was more like streamlined or something that I sometimes struggle with. Things also like hallucinations or like it kind of figuring out or like rebuilding URLs sometimes. And those are things that are expected. And there are a lot of workarounds now that we have as we advance into as we develop more and more and get more involved agents. But those are some issues that I would say people face on like a daily with agents.
Mm. And is it something like you are also currently facing in any projects or anything?
Yeah, currently I work with the LinkedIn API right now, and I think both of you guys know the grief I had with it, and that was it was also like if it's not like an agent issue, which it's not been, it's been a API issue and the way the APIs are structured. So it is refreshing to see when you have something that you've created that you don't expect to have a lot of control over, having more control and having that workflow work for you when
Mhm,
you start with it on its own. Like and LinkedIn API in itself is kind of more tedious and doesn't work very well, but
mhm.
that having the agent workflow be the more seamless part is really refreshing and it's been great.
Nice, very nice. Now, okay, so we covered product, we covered technical, and now this is more subjective or more like an overview, futuristic kind of question that I have. Um, what do you both think is the biggest misconception about AI agents today? And Asma, since you have the mic, why don't you go ahead?
I think I know, and I think Noah touched on this in being like wanting the agent, wanting the human in the loop, and people tend to think of it as like, oh, AI is gonna take our jobs, oh, AI is gonna
Mm,
replace everything. It's just not true. Like, yes, it is a workflow and it's streamlining workflows, but you as a user are still involved in some aspect or the other, and you should be involved in it. And while we try to kind of close this loop and try to make it as seamless and as integrated as possible to give you the best possible response from the agent, you as a human are always going to be part of it because
mm.
you are completing that circle. And that's the way I like to look at it, at least. So yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. How about you, Noor? What are your thoughts?
So there's actually a few myths around agent. First, calling everything an agent is the biggest myth, right? Now, no, it's really funny how like people say, probably I have an agent. Like the way how soft the definition became.
Mm-hmm.
People who like just have some kind of automation in their back office, like probably you have an agent already. Maybe you do.
Yeah,
But let's
probably.
define the agent. And the importance of definition is um, then you can understand what are the challenges because
Mhm,
automation has different challenges and you shouldn't attach the challenges of agents with automation because that will scale you, that will limit you.
mhm,
Automations, we've been working with them for a very long time. We understand the ins and outs of them. They're robust, like, right? They're running the businesses today.
mm,
Agents, they have a new set of challenges, and one of them is what Asma touched on, is this agent API communication. We can't guarantee it. Like there are old APIs, legacy APIs that are not prepared to talk to agents,
Mhm.
and if we think it's out of the box to click, we will be fooling ourselves. This is why actually it takes a lot of time to debug an agent, while it's like this to build an agent, because once
True.
you do the click, it feels like, oh, I have an agent. But for it to actually work the way you intended to do, you need a lot of iteration and figuring out where is the bottleneck. Another misconception that is recurring is like, if the agent doesn't work, try a bigger LLM underlying. That's not true, because of like how you're using, first, there's like, you're gonna kill the efficiency, speed, and you're gonna kill your budget with large language models. And second, we've seen that smaller models in some operations work as good because the task is already small, or smaller fine-tuned models can even
Mhm.
work even better for you. um, this is where I would say AI expertise comes in, right? It is really agents. It's very approachable for people, and I love that people try to build them and play with them. And I encourage everyone to be an agent engineer and agent builder, because that is the future. I think that is how you will build your next company, right? Everyone will
Mhm.
build their company with agents on the side as their first initial team. So learning how to build agents is essential, and I think this is the next skill. Like coding, you have to be able to build agents. However, there is a space where AI expertise is still needed today, because agents are still not mature, LLMs are not mature, where these decisions, small decisions like what LLMs should I use, what metric should I configure, makes sense, like to include.
Fair enough. And if you had to place a bet on one game-changing development in AI agents, since we're talking about it, over the next 5 years, what would it
Mm.
be?
Um, I would say it's going to be agent ecosystems. I would
Mm,
think it's an agent to agent communication. I think we're mastering, on like, we're now trying to master the agent tool.
mm,
Um, but it's not going to take us a long time. Just looking at the trajectory of Gen AI and how we've progressed and how much people are excited about this, I think this will become better very, very soon. I think next year will be agent to agent year, and we
Ah,
will
okay.
see. I think that we'll see. I mean, we're already having a glance of some companies producing
Mm,
agent-to-agent
yeah.
protocols, but I like it's still, as the agents are not are we still need to trust the agents before we let them talk with each other.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I'm guessing next year will be the year for A to A,
Mm,
and we'll have protocols. It's going to be like a new form of microservices, where it's instead of like tool to tool, it's like they're doing decision making
mhm.
based on, again, intent.
Right. Got it. Asma, what's your take on this?
So one thing I've really been keen on looking at, or like something that I feel like super interesting, is actually just the self-improving aspect of agents and how that could um, be put into place. And I know we are close, but
Yeah.
it's really interesting to kind of be like, okay, fallback systems and kind of having those things kind of invoke in case something doesn't work out and things like that. And how those I think are like a fail-safe that we would need in order to reach industries that don't particularly depend on AI the way that they should. Industries that are kind of scared. And once we have fallback mechanisms, I feel like that would be more encouraging to these industries.
Very well. That makes sense. Yeah, personally, yes, I'm definitely looking forward to how many industries are going to automate using agents with a full understanding of what agents are. And like Noor said, the agent-to-agent protocol, people are talking about it. It's in the talks. If it is on paper, I think we're still a little far from that, but people are definitely talking about it. So yeah, thank you for sharing. So
Sunam,
that's
question:
a
Have you tried an evolver agent? Have you tried a self? Did you see a self-improving agent, how they act?
I have because we have our Evolver coming out from Explain. We have our paper there, and I have seen it work in action. And I won't like it's not like super perfect, but it's almost there. It's like evolving based on what it learned previously, and that's already interesting. It is tiny bit scary, but it's going towards what you mentioned, agent to agent protocol. So
Very cool.
it's I feel like it's a step there. So yeah, definitely looking forward to where it goes and what more innovation that brings in. But yeah, so this is a wrap. Big thanks to you,
You.
Noor and Asma,
Thanks.
for sharing, behind the scene takes. And it's always fun chatting with people you get to build with every day. And my dear listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow and share. More AI goodness coming your way soon. Thank you, ladies. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Take care.